Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HealthCast 305. This is episode number 10, so it's a big episode. I'm very proud that we've made it this far with all these local Miami greats. And today we got another amazing one for you guys. We have the one and only David Arguez. Is that correct? Did I say that right?
That is correct, my friend.
Wow. See, I have a name that's impossible to say, so I always I try to get people's names right. Um, and
How do you
he
pronounce your name?
Polizuk, Polizuk. It's
Oh, cool.
Ukrainian. Yeah, we changed it. We kind of Americanized it as we came here, and by we I mean like my dad, so not me. But you know how it is.
Excellent. There you go. You guys
Yeah.
incorporated yourself fantastically well, what I can see. And in Miami, you're doing even better. So I'm excited for this podcast, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
No problem, man. I'm excited to have you on. See, now I know David through marketing. I go around different places that grab business cards. I saw your stuff somewhere in Coral Gables. I went to an office. It might have been your office because there was a bunch of business cards. I picked one out, followed you on Instagram,
Yes.
and I see some of the content you produce on Instagram on your Instagram page, 365 Wellness Solutions Instagram, and it was just you got a lot to say. You're very confident in the words that you say. It's good to have someone out there, a practitioner like you, that actually talks the talk and walks the walk. It has a little bit of confidence behind what they say, which is a big thing, especially in Miami, right? You gotta show people that you got the moxie for it. So David,
Absolutely, Dr. Rob.
thank you. You started 365 Wellness Solutions roughly 3-4 years ago, in the Gables, correct? And this is a primarily nutrition-based company, but it looks like it does a lot more, at least from my perspective. Can you expand a little bit on that?
Definitely. So the goal of 365 Wellness Solutions is to give people an alternative route to take when it comes to achieving an optimal state of health. People usually think that working out is a chore, or eating healthy is a chore, or going to get adjusted with you is a chore. But in reality, our goal is to make it easy for them, right? So our bread and butter is concierge nutrition. And what makes us different from the rest is that not only do we design a goal specific nutrition programs, we work with a lot of diabetics, we work with people who have digestive issues.
Mm-hmm.
Our bread and butter's weight loss more than anything. But not only do we design their programs, we also provide them with concierge personal chef services at their house on a daily basis. So it's a very complete program. We have a personal trainer that's also part of the team. We have an on-site physician, Dr. J, who
Wow.
happens to be, my main mentor and a father-like figure in my life, because he's a great role model to me. So I'm surrounded by great people. 365 Wellness Solutions is really making a difference in the community. We're transforming lives through nutrition and exercise. So I'm excited, brother. I'm excited that we're making this connection, because I've seen firsthand what chiropractics and physical therapy have done in my life. And I'm excited to come together and network and see
Yeah.
what we can do for our clients, because this is great, man. And I take my hat off to you for what you're doing.
No, no problem. I mean, in the Miami area, you have to sometimes the network. You got to think of some clever ideas. And I was like, I like to talk, and I like to talk to people. And instead of just having these conversations privately, which are fine, I figured why not like put this out there for people to hear? Because a lot of the times I get into
Love
the
it.
nitty gritty with people, and I'm like, well, we just met. This would be a great thing to just like put this out for someone, and they could learn some stuff themselves too. Especially with people, because anyone related to my field, anyone related to physical therapy, wellness, or nutrition or dietary concerns, like they can benefit from hearing these conversations themselves. So I was like, let's start
Absolutely.
putting these out there for people to hear, and if they want to listen, they can listen. And then I put my little highlights on Instagram, the key parts that I think people get some benefit from, and you're just mixing it up. You're getting to know a bunch of different people, and so that's the thing. Sometimes everyone in Miami, we're moving, we're going, we're even during
We're
quarantine.
moving and
So
grooving, brother.
yeah,
That's
it's a
the name of
city,
the game.
man. That's how it is. Everyone's hustling, right? That's like the first word
Yeah,
in like half of people's social media accounts now, like hustling, everyday hustling. So this
for
is my
sure.
hustle. So
Love it.
explain your background. Like, where did you come up from? And how did you get to this point?
That's a great question. And I'm glad that you asked, because I started from the very, very, very bottom, my friend. Um, at 18 years old, I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life. I had no sense of direction, no sense of really fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I got hired at GNC as a basic sales associate that I really discovered that nutrition was my calling. And I actually got promoted within the first 6 months of working at that GNC franchise. And I overlooked 3 other franchises here in the Miami area. I trained employees, and I did everything else, all the other managerial duties that GNC managers take care of, right? So my nutrition internship started off with Dr. Cheng at the Kendall Regional Medical Center.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually where I decided to found 365 Wellness Solutions, because I was only meeting with each client for about 5 minutes. I'm not sure if you've worked with HMO dietitians or dietitians from hospitals, nutritionists that work in hospitals, but they usually sit down with patients for only 5 minutes, have them fill out like a very brief assessment, and
Mm-hmm.
recommend them very basic methods without an exact meal plan. If they have a meal plan, it's a standard template that they use with all the other patients who have a similar situation to them. So I decided to found 365 Wellness Solutions because of the fact that I saw that nutritionists and dietitians are not going the extra miles to personalize and individualize people's programs, not only for their health needs,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of practicality and compliance. I think that those are 2 huge factors that are overlooked amongst nutritionists. And that's why our clients have such high success rates, because we make it easy for them. And in terms of my background, it's funny because I read a quote the other day from Napoleon Hill that says, every adversity plants a seed of equal or greater benefit, right? I
Mm-hmm.
had to go through a lot growing up. Later on, I'm going to tell you my story as we get closer, and later on, I would love to share my story
Yeah,
with
definitely.
your viewers, because it is an intense one. I'm just not ready to put it out there quite yet.
Okay,
But
I understand.
I'm excited, brother. I'm excited for what's to come. I'm excited for our collaboration, and it's all about helping people and making their lives better. So I'm happy that God's given us the opportunity to do so.
Well, thank you. I mean, me too, man. You're a very grateful person. That's a big thing is people actually taking note of what they're grateful for. I don't do this myself, but I have a buddy, Jimmy, who has recently started taking daily like gratitude journal stuff, and he says that's like changed his life to an extent, because now he can understand what was good for him, and some things that he doesn't really sit or dwell on the things that are bad, So showing that
Definitely.
gratitude is big. The gratitude journal, that's what they do. I have another friend, Lauren, who does that as well. So,
Love it. It
yeah,
all
and
starts with mindset, brother.
yeah, right. And that's the thing. If you want to succeed, you got to have that mindset. And we're all still learning, especially me. I still feel like I'm starting out. I've had the business for a couple of years myself, but it's all a process. It's all,
So am I, man.
yeah.
We're all just moving inch by inch, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now is when we're really going to reap what we sow, because we're planting the seeds. We're building a name for ourselves, and let me tell you, from one young professional to another, we're using a lot of new unorthodox methods that our older peers that have been in the business for a long time are not using, due to the fact that they're not as good with technology as
Yeah.
millennials are. They're not as good as with automation. So the reason why a lot of clients are opting to go with younger health practitioners rather than a health practitioner who has been in the business for 30, 40 years is because of the fact that nutritionists back in the day had you write down everything that you ate in a food journal, right?
Yeah. Ew.
Ew. I would never in a million years ask any one of my clients to do that. As a
They don't
matter of
have to
fact,
record what they eat like that? That's awesome.
yeah, we actually set up all their recipes for them, as well as their grocery list on our app. It's called Diet Master Go for anybody who wants to download it. And on that app, since everything, the ingredients are already going to be purchased, the meals are already going to be prepped from the day before. All you have to do is just click a very easy button to let me know that you had your lunch or your dinner, your breakfast, whatever it was. And then that's how we can maintain the daily communication. I'm not one of those nutritionists that sets somebody up with a meal plan and abandons them for the next 30 days. I know that's a
Yeah.
pretty common practice, um, especially in Miami. I really try to hold my hand throughout the entire process for my clients to let them know that not only am I here to hold them accountable and offer them that moral support, but I'm here to ensure their success.
That's awesome. Yeah. So it sounds like they have a little bit of freedom, or at least they have things taken care of for them. They don't have to write everything down, which I feel like is the biggest first step for a lot of people, right? They don't want to get involved
Absolutely.
with having to write everything down. I mean, and
Yeah,
they
it's a
do
pain
have,
in the ass.
yeah, and your app, I just downloaded it, so we'll see what it looks like in a
Mhm.
minute. But you created this app,
Definitely.
Diet Master Go.
It's actually a third party software that we use. And we're in the process of
Oh,
getting the
cool.
app branded as well. So everybody who logs in is going to see the 365 Wellness Solutions
Yeah.
logo, our colors, our fonts, right? Um, and I would love to set you up with a complimentary meal plan
Oh,
and
wow.
grocery list if that's something that you feel would benefit you in your life, which I feel would greatly benefit you.
Yeah, I'm willing
Um,
to try anything. That's the name of the
awesome.
game. Yes, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
Definitely.
they have something like that for rehab and personal training too, like an app that you can basically brand and then use that. You can roll that over into your own your own software basically and have your name on it. So you're just using their technology, but all of the information and all of the knowledge and the smarts come from you. So I like that because that means it's kind of tried and
Definitely.
tested, right? It's not you didn't have to hire someone on Fiverr and it's like all glitchy. It's an app that
Yeah,
works with you. That's the biggest thing, right? Nowadays,
for
you want to
sure.
hack it yourself and it doesn't always work out too well. So who makes
Definitely.
this food when you're actually giving people food? Who's making the food? Are you?
Very good question. In some instances, I'm the one who makes the food. I'm the one who goes to the clients' houses and meal preps for them.
Wow.
That would be our concierge nutrition program, which we currently have 6 people on that program at the moment. So I'm gonna have to start delegating some of our work, maybe hire a personal chef to help if we pick up some other clients because the majority of the meals are standard meal delivery service is conducted by third party kitchens as well. We have what we call our gold kitchen, which it's very gourmet. They actually do not repeat any dishes for about a month and a half straight. So
Oh,
for a month and a
jeez.
half straight, our clients eat completely different meals. We have a huge variety. And then what we call our silver kitchen, it's not daily delivery like our gold kitchen is. It's 2-day delivery, and the meals are fantastic. But it would be like a tier lower since the gold kitchen is very high end. It's uh, our our main meal delivery service, but we have it just to offer 2 different types of services so we can reach a larger demographic. So yeah, we have executive chefs that have been working in high-end restaurants in Miami Beach and Coral
Wow.
Gables that work with us. And like I said, brother, I'm really grateful that we have such a great team of associates and business partners and employees that we work with because I feel like we're creating something special. And uh, like I said, we're all going to reap the benefits of 365 Wellness Solutions 5, 10 years down the line because eventually I would love for this to become a national company and eventually an international company as well.
Wow.
So let's see how we're going to scale and
Yeah.
overcome all the obstacles that we have. And I'm sure your business is going to do the same thing because you're on a very good path. Let me tell you, man.
Oh, thank you. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
exciting part is thinking about the expansion. And it's when you start off,
definitely.
you think about it, but then you try to force it away because you got to focus one thing at a time. So um, that's definitely something I would be interested in too. Creating
Nice.
multiple clinics, you know, the best
Yeah,
part
yeah.
is when you can hire someone to take over for you. So that when you can hire like the chef
Yes.
to take care, that's when that would be like a massive relief, and you learn maybe they're not good. Then you got to learn how to trade someone out.
Hmm.
That's a so if you look at business that way, I feel like you look at everything
Yeah.
as a learning experience. Especially in Miami, you hit a lot of bumps in the road. So that's something that I've noticed. And once you get past the bump, you look back and it's a good experience. Even if you lose money from it, it's like, all right, I basically paid like what $300 to learn that I shouldn't be doing this because that was a total waste of time and money. But then you learn, and you wonder. You see these people
They're
that are really
expensive
successful.
lessons.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
It's like when people pay coaches. I'm coaching
Hmm.
myself by making a mistake. So
Definitely.
do you guys
Hmm.
do long distance stuff? Because it sounds like from what I saw on
Yes.
your Instagram this past week, you had gone somewhere to see someone. So I'm assuming that was about maybe one of the first times you've seen them. So do you do long distance coaching as well, while having to actually cook for them at their house and such?
Absolutely, we do. We actually just did a conference, Dr. J, our on-site physician, and myself, for some clients in Philadelphia this past weekend because they've been a remote clients for several months, and let me tell you, they've done really well. It's a family of six. They've all lost weight. They all feel a difference in their energy levels and their performance at work and school. So they've been very compliant and they've been fantastic. So they wanted to meet us personally since
Oh,
since they had done so well, and we get pretty emotionally attached to each and every one of our clients because we see their progression, and it's really satisfactory, brother. I know that you experience the same thing with
yeah.
your clients. So since we've developed such a nice bond, and us eight, they asked us to go and visit them. We actually stayed at their house, beautiful house, and we had a fantastic time. We made a trip out of it too. We went to Savannah, Georgia. We went to Washington D.C. So we were road tripping this whole weekend, and I was still seeing clients because, as you know, Zoom is a fantastic tool
Yeah.
to keep track of with everybody. So I was making sure that everybody was keeping track of their nutrition and holding people accountable to the goals that they set with me at the beginning of their program. So again, brother, we're blessed. We're blessed to do what we do.
Now, this accountability aspect is huge, right? That's probably one of the biggest things you do.
Huge.
Yeah, because you got to keep
Yes.
people on track because you can make all the food, you can prepare things, you can tell them what to do, but if they're not accountable, then they'll lose it. That seems to be the biggest thing with a lot of programs, fitness, diet, anything like that. Is that true? Would you agree with that?
Definitely. Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. And that's the reason why I try to make our programs as easy to follow as possible. One of the first questions that I ask a client when onboarding them is, what are your favorite foods? Because a lot of people think that they can't eat carbs when if they're trying to lose weight, when carbohydrates are one of the three macronutrients. So if you cut off carbs completely, they're actually the only source of fuel that the brain uses as energy. So there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of myths about nutrition. And I love debunking them with the clients and having them see results eating their favorite foods. Because obviously, if I'm making a meal plan with their favorite foods, I'm going to hold them accountable since we took the time to make sure that it was a meal plan that's perfect, not only for their health
Yeah.
necessities, but their taste buds too. So that was a great question. As long as they enjoy the meal plan and we're holding them accountable, we try to make it as easy as possible.
Now, were you into cooking and all this stuff before all this, I'm assuming? I mean, no? You
I'm
had
I'm
to.
gonna be honest with you, brother. I didn't even know how to fry an egg.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
bad. So I had to learn on the fly,
Yeah.
as most business owners do, as you did as well.
Yeah.
But it's pretty interesting because if you put yourself out there and you get out of your comfort zone, that's when you grow, and that's when you're forced to level up and learn. And now I cook for a lot of people that are used to eating at Capitol Grill, Morton Steakhouse, Ruth Chris, delicious gourmet restaurants. And they like my food. So
Yeah,
if they're
you
not
had it in you.
complaining, yeah. And the best ingredient that you could ever put in a meal is love. I cook all
Oh,
my clients' meals with love, and I really take the time to make sure that I'm picking and choosing the best organic ingredients, free from food additives, pesticides, or anything like that. So it's all about going the extra mile, brother. And a lot of people are willing to pay a little bit more for this concierge, personalized kind of
yeah.
service. Even though we try to be as affordable as possible so we can reach all demographics,
Hmm.
we pretty much try to cater to all sorts of people. So uh, the idea is to help and to listen, to receive feedback from the clients regarding how much they like the food. If they want to make a certain change, we can actually change their meal plans from one day to the next. So sometimes I pull all nighters. It's a very it's a very sporadic thing for me to do an all nighter, but I had to do it recently before the Philadelphia trip because I had to take care of so many things and as well as cook that there was no way I was going to get my to-do list done unless I stayed up the whole night. So as long as the clients are seeing results from one young health practitioner to another, I know that we're willing to do whatever it takes. So that's the beauty of it, man.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. It's when you have your own business like this, it's like feast or famine. It's like all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden you have to do like 70 things at once, and you have to pull an all nighter. That's how it's got to be. So, because now
Of
it's like you don't
course.
have a boss, but your
Mm-hmm.
bosses are are your clients. Every client is like
Correct.
a little boss in your life. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you're right. You got to put the love into it too. I think that was SpongeBob's mom's secret ingredient as well. I think that was an episode of SpongeBob where her secret ingredient was love as well. So who's a typical patient
Okay.
for you? Who was like a if you had to say like a classic
Mm-hmm.
client? I always say patient. Who's a typical client for you? A typical person that you're working with? You said weight loss. We heard diabetes. People with pathologies. But what's an example of like the classic person you might come in contact with that comes
Mm-hmm.
to you for your business?
Well, our target client, our client that is a perfect fit for our program would be an entrepreneur in their early to late 30s
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't have time to cook or doesn't really have an established goal specific program in terms of nutrition. Usually in your 30s is where um, you start to have those aches and pains that you didn't have in your 20s. You notice that you recover much slower after going to the gym. So since I myself am in my 20s, I love working with young people, but we do still have a couple baby boomers on the program, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for them because they're so good with technology and they're so compliant that they make my life easy. Um, but yeah, man, entrepreneurs in their 30s, young professionals in their 30s that just need guidance or some sort of direction. They know that they want to get from 200 pounds down to 180 by this summer. But since they don't have an established plan, they don't know how many calories they should be consuming on a daily basis. They don't know how many grams of protein. They don't know if their micronutrient intake is optimal. They come to us so we can perform a diet analysis as well as a body composition analysis. And that's when we determine what the best course of action for that person would be. We've also worked with kids. We've also worked with elite athletes. I actually have a professional basketball player that is training and playing now in Spain. The season hasn't started, but I know that he's training hard and he's in mid-season shape at the moment. Um, so we have a very wide demographic, and it's a blessing that I'm able to work with so many different people from so
Yeah.
many different walks of life because nutrition is something that could benefit everybody.
Yeah, it's such a personal touch when you have your own setup because instead of just getting handed people as like a nutritionist or dietitian, at a
Yeah,
big mill, you like market to people, you have your ideal client, and then you get them and you talk to them, you get to know who they are personally. It's like the whole process from start to finish is very personalized. So that's something that I've noticed
absolutely.
about my business that I like is instead of just being like, Rob, you have two people right now, like they're up front, go get them. And it's more like you're working them through a system as opposed to someone when you get them, when you marketed for them and you got them and you got to talk to them from the start, you convinced them to join in. It just feels more rewarding. You feel more connected to their success.
I
Um,
completely agree. So, Dr. Rob, tell me a little bit about your business, Physiologics, because I took a look at your I took a look at your Instagram page. I'm seeing everything that you're doing, and let me tell you, your programs are very goal specific. I saw like a volleyball player who had a
yeah,
ruptured tendon or something like
yeah.
that, which was a problem that I'm sure is very specific and happens very common with volleyball players. So tell me a little bit about your business.
Oh, I like this. I'm getting interviewed.
Yeah,
I've always wanted the chance. um,
yeah. I'm I'm
record
glad,
from your
brother.
end. Get this for your podcast. I
Yeah, yeah.
um I so the volleyball player in general, she
Mhm.
had injured her knee playing volleyball, actually, believe it or not. She was landing and she got landed on. Her knee buckled inside. So she tore that little ligament, the MCL, on the inside of her knee. So her mom was very concerned about her, wanted her to go into PT, get it checked out. And that was one of the benefits. It's physiologics. It's all one on one. It's in a big gym. We have all the equipment we need. There's no techs. There's no PTAs. There's not even a front desk. I'm the front desk. I do the calls. I do everything. So I got to connect with them from the start. I
Excellent.
took her through the whole program. We worked on her landing mechanics, specifically, we went from double leg to single leg to jumping. And then by the end of it, she was very confident. It's great seeing someone come in on appointment one. They have terrible knee stability. They can't reach, they can't touch their foot or reach out or hit a volleyball with confidence because they're scared. And then
Mhm.
within 3 to 6 appointments, they're back to mid-season form again. So just as you were
Nice.
talking about with the basketball player, how they're like in mid-season form and all that,
Mhm.
same kind of concept with obviously the physical portion too, where it's like I'm getting these people who are so capable, but they could be scared, and even like a 13 to 17-year-old girl, you think they could just get right back after it, but it's not really the case. They have to actually be progressively exposed to some of the basic movements that they have to do anyway, because it's natural for us to get scared and we don't want to go right back into it. So, yeah, in
Mhm.
physiologics, we work once again. It's funny you mentioned your ideal client, your avatar, as people will say,
Mhm.
and mine is very similar. It's people around my age range, like people who are busy professionals, because I'm in Brickell, so that's who I look out for.
Oh, you're
And
relatively close by.
yeah, where you're located, yeah, Coral Gables, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so yeah, that's why when I drive all over, I go to everywhere, I market and say hi to everyone. Not right now because of COVID. I've just been calling. It saves a lot of time actually. Um,
It does.
it's crazy. I'm like, wow, this is a blessing in disguise, and it saves me time talking to a front desk at a hospital when I could just call them and say, "Can I talk to the doctor?" And I'm like, okay, that saved me 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
As
might as
long
well
as you
try.
have some, I agree, brother. As long as you have some sort of value to offer them for free, for them to try you out first,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you hook them in. Because I'm sure once people try your services once, they get hooked, and
Mm-hmm.
they can't stop, because if they stop, they're not going to reach their goals. Um, so are you an athlete yourself, Dr. Rob?
I like to think I am, but I'm not right
Yeah.
now. I just work out a lot.
Okay.
I'm really into working. I
Excellent.
played football in college. I did. I played football. I played
Oh, so
football
you
until
are.
sophomore year of college. Yeah, I was Division 3, then
Yeah.
Division 2. Division 2, I was so bad. I was totally out of my league, man. I went there
Hey,
freshman year
well, you
after an
made it.
ACL tear. I made it, man. I was so
Yeah.
cheap. I had the cleats with the metal tips so they would last longer. And I remember we had to run out onto the field, and every time it was so stressful. We had to run on this like pavement, and the metal on the pavement was like the slip. It was like ball bearings. It was totally there was no coefficient of friction. I was running on it. Everyone had their cool cleats on. They replaced every game, but I was
Mhm.
like, I'm not gonna do that, and I'm just like the guy who holds the defensive signs up. And I remember like three games, like three of like the 6 home games, I slipped and fell right on my ass, and it was like so embarrassing in front of all the fans. And it's just like I refuse to buy new cleats. I'm gonna use these cleats out, and maybe that's when I started realizing maybe I wasn't made out for it. I was like, maybe I should just get into the real world to finally, focus on my next level stuff. So I got into fitness. I changed my major from psychology to exercise science. Went to PT school in Miami.
Nice.
And stayed around here.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Where'd you go?
I like Miami a lot for all the things that people say about it. I mean, the weather's great. The people have attitude, which is sometimes really bad, but sometimes pretty good. So I lived in Dallas for a little bit, lived in New York City. I lived in DC, and I think Miami just has a good mix of like colorfulness and attitude and things to do. So I like it for now, even though I can't speak Spanish, which is an issue.
Oh, you will soon.
That's what they always say.
The basic phrases too, right? Like hola, hola, ¿cómo estás? Right?
Puentes, boca arriba, por favor. And I'll be like, I'll say squeeze your gluteos, like squeeze your butt. Okay. Yeah, cafecito. Yeah, it's all I gotta know. Coffee, squeeze your butt, and bridges. Those are the main words you gotta know. It seems like
cafecito and croqueta. Have you ever had a croqueta before?
Yeah. They would deliver them to the clinics, the box clinics I worked at. That convinced me to become a PT on my own because the box clinics were so crowded. It's 5 patients an hour. But they would still bring them in, and they're like liquid. It's like toothpaste consistency pork inside of the fried thing. And I would eat one, and I would immediately fall asleep. So I'd have to take a cafecito to make up for it, right? So it became like this.
Okay, so they balanced themselves out.
Yeah, exactly. I OD'd on the croquetas because they're so good. But I don't know if I can eat one now. If I ate a croqueta now, I'd fall directly to sleep. I don't think there's any amount of cafecito. Because honestly, cafecitos have too much sugar. I'm so sensitive to insulin. I don't eat enough sugar.
Oh, wow.
And when I eat, when I drink like something if someone makes an extra sugary one, it's like, it honestly does less for me than just drinking a coffee. So I drink black coffee to just Americano style.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Are you hypoglycemic yourself?
I don't think so. Not in general. It's just that if I have sugary foods, they tend to... If I have like really sugary foods that there's nothing else in them, like a sugary snack, like there's like a crash afterwards. Yeah, exactly. High glycemic with no other content, with a low glycemic load, I guess you would say, or maybe it'd be high glycemic load. It gets to me. It's like I need like a full balance. I mean, I'm just so used to that, and I haven't been eating a lot of breakfast in general, and I kind of backhandedly call that intermittent fasting, which it probably really isn't, but it ends up being like a 16 to 15 hour, 14 hour window. And it keeps me on control of my diet, because if I eat 3 or 4 meals a day, like I'll just eat proportionally more calories because I'm a pig. I'll just like eat big meals, but everything I have in my fridge is very healthy. That's the thing I've gotten used to. Like I couldn't even eat unhealthy if I want to. Like the biggest cheat meal I have is like a rice cake with peanut butter and like spicy jelly on it, which I just had before this with a meal, because if I had just that, it would be crash city, man. So for what it's worth, I feel like I have things under control, but there's always something to learn. Always something to learn, as you know.
Definitely, brother. I'll go ahead and shoot you over some smoothie recipes. I know that the biggest factor for you is the time, since you're so busy with your business. I'll show you some very easy to prepare smoothie recipes that you can do in the morning, breakfast recipes, sandwiches, things like that. Man, that's going to help you a lot. And I'm glad that you have such a great foundation. And not only do you know about physical therapy, but you also decided to diversify your knowledge and learn a little bit about nutrition and other areas too. So
these podcasts help. I get to talk to people like you, and it's like a backhanded way to learn. I've already learned a lot. I'm realizing. It's like the Joe Rogan effect. Joe Rogan does all these podcasts. He learns so much, and all he has to do is have a conversation. And he invites his little knowledge books over. You're my nutrition guy. I had a dietitian a couple weeks ago. I had
I noticed that
psychotherapist. Yeah. He's a knowledgeable guy. So every week it's like I get to learn a little bit more from different people. And now I have people to shoot. Oh, you need help with that? Like, try that out. You need concierge wellness? Boom, check this guy out. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. So in a typical day, what is it that you usually eat like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
I can do. Today's been a pretty classic day. So for breakfast, I had like it's like one or two eggs with like three or four egg whites. Um,
Okay, very good.
and in terms of, I'll usually have like a fruit. Like I'll have like some strawberries or blueberries with it, and then I'll head out. I've been trying to put more salt on it because I've been realizing I've been getting a lot of cramps. I actually asked Tony Castillo about it a couple weeks ago, and it is I believe it's a salt issue that I have where like when I work out, especially very hard, I get such enormous cramps that like I can't even wash my hair later
Mm,
because my bicep is so it's so dead. So I've been
wow.
starting off with I'll put some sea
Hmm.
salt in there and season it up. Then I'll
Sorry to
probably work.
interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Dr. Rob. The for the cramps, that could actually be a deficiency of one of three minerals: sodium, magnesium, or potassium. So you might want to look at your intake of those three minerals because it could be sodium, but it could be potassium or magnesium. Are you taking a multivitamin?
I do take a multivitamin. I don't take it
Oh,
in the morning
fantastic.
typically, but I take it like in the afternoon.
Hmm.
Usually after my workout, it just happens to come out
Yeah,
that way. Because I feel
cool.
like if I take it on an empty stomach, I will miss some of the fat soluble nutrients. Is what I'm thinking. I don't know if that's the right
Yes,
logic.
it's
And
definitely better to take it with food.
yeah, right. And it's because sometimes I don't eat breakfast. That's what I'll do. And so for
Cool.
lunch, I'll work out. I'll get back, and then I'll have like a protein shake, and that's like one and a half cups of chocolate milk, but it's non dairy. What's the word I'm looking for?
Okay.
Not lactose free. It's lactose free, even though there's no reason for that. It just this
Hmm.
particular chocolate milk is like that, and it's so good, and it stops me from having the farts. Right, so I have
Yeah.
that. I
As a
put
matter of
that. Then
fact, brother,
yeah,
I if can I recommend you the best non-dairy chocolate milk you'll ever try in your life?
yeah. What's it called? What if it's the same one?
Okay.
Fairlife.
Oh, I've heard of that one. That one's great. That one's great. Do you mind if I can screen share real quick right
Yeah.
here?
Are you that savvy? Let's see the savviness.
Let's see. Let's see. I'm actually doing a quick Google search here before I go ahead and screen share.
Yeah, we got to make sure that we have it ready. You
Excellent.
don't want the wrong thing popping
Yes.
up.
No, not at all. So let's go ahead and share the screen. Oh,
Let's see if I'm alive.
would you mind enabling it?
Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm being stingy, aren't I?
No,
Let
no,
me
don't
see.
worry about it, man.
It's like the automatic setting is
Oh, here we go. So
okay, good.
share. Here we go.
Oh, silk.
Yes, silk.
That's really
This
yummy,
is,
huh?
yeah, the taste is fantastic, brother. And if you take a look at the macros, I really expected this to have a lot less protein than what it does because it's so sweet. I don't know if you do you have a sweet tooth yourself?
Yeah, to an extent I do. As long as if it's actually sugar though, then I'll have that sleepy thing going on, right?
Nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, this right here, it's very high glycemic, so it's great to have in the morning when you want instant energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I recommend to have this. Like what I do myself is I actually do a instead of cereal, I like to eat granola, and I'll put like some frozen berries and some diced bananas on top of
Mm-hmm.
the granola, and that'll be my breakfast. It's very high glycemic. It's very high in saturated fats because of the granola. High in fiber, so it's a great way to start your day with plenty of healthy, simple carbohydrates that are nutrient dense. Because you hear a lot about macros, but not enough people are talking about your micros, right? Which are
Yeah.
vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and amino acids. So you're only going to get those micros from fruits and vegetables. So I try to knock out my fruits and vegetables early on during the day so that I can kind of pig out, if you can, if you can say during in an intelligent way, of course, because a lot of people think that just by eating a cookie, they're going to get fat, or they think that some foods are more fattening than others. when in reality, yes, some foods are more calorically dense than others. But as long as you're maintaining your caloric targets and your macronutrient distribution uh, to to what it is that you want, you're going to see results regardless of what you eat, as long as your micronutrient intake is optimal. So,
Yeah,
pretty interesting.
it's like an if it fits your macro situation with
Yeah,
getting your micros in.
correct.
Because I'm sure that you've heard of if it fits in macros, I'm sure. What do you think
Yeah,
about that? What
I
do you
love
think
that.
about that? You like that?
I love that phrase to an extent
I was gonna say,
because, yeah,
because people
as
abuse it, right?
they do. They do. They'll fit their macros by eating only fast food and no
Mm-hmm.
nutrient dense foods whatsoever. So they look healthy. They look great because they're strong. They have toned muscles and whatnot. But when they go and get a blood test, they have a vitamin D deficiency. They have
Oh God.
uh, B vitamin deficiencies as well. So yeah, it's if it fits your macros and your micronutrient intake is optimal, as well as your caloric intake, then you're going to be a very healthy individual. It's like a puzzle, and everybody has a different basal metabolic rate. Everybody has a different metabolism or different taste. So I've had some tough clients before. Let me tell you, very picky clients that don't eat absolutely anything. So I have to work with the few options that they give me and put together a meal plan that has a wide variety of different dishes, while at the same time meeting their nutrient and their caloric requirements. So my job's not easy, but I'm glad that I have the privilege to do it because it is fun and it is rewarding. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it keeps your brain working. You're not gonna get too lazy with that. Honestly, it
For
seems like in
sure.
life, it's like you don't want to get caught up in the humdrum day in day out thing. And that's the thing with me is in the other clinic I was at before I had my own thing. It wasn't diverse like the same times, and I wasn't really challenging myself. I mean, clinically I was, but in terms of like feeling different from day to day and doing different things, and I'm doing a podcast now, and I just bartered with
You're
someone to
killing
get
it,
like a
man.
Thai massage, and I'm trading that for
Yeah.
PT, and I'm getting to know them. So it's like it's kind of
Okay.
yeah, it's like an interesting. You don't get that experience with other things. So what is an eval day like? You mentioned earlier you do like a body
Mhm.
fat assessment as well as
A
I'm
diet
sure a diet.
analysis.
Yeah, what's that like? So if someone comes in day one, what can they expect from you guys?
Okay, so the interesting part of the whole protocol is that we actually have the client fill out their diet analysis beforehand. So we have all their answers before they come to our offices, and when they do come, that's when we perform their body composition analysis. We actually have a clinical grade machine at our wellness center where people stand on it. It uses a technology called bioimpedance to read
Mm-hmm.
your total body water, your lean body mass, your body fat mass, your resting metabolic rate. So it gives us a lot of different values, and we use those values to determine what the best course of action is going to be for that individual. Thank God we decided to make the investment in that machine, because when I first started my career, I actually had to do everything by hand, and the clients did not like to wait. That's one thing about Miami. Clients want things done their way. Clients want things very quickly. And I think that it's great because that's what sets us apart from the rest of the market. The fact that we can meet all of their requirements and keep them happy. So yeah, we perform their body composition analysis on site. We do kind of like a 30-minute consultation, telling them what foods they can eat. We give them an approved foods list, and we actually work on the recipes together, believe it or not. So after they give me their favorite foods, um, we actually put together, like I'll ask them, okay, so what would you like to have for breakfast on Monday? How about an acai bowl? They're like, wow, that sounds good. Yeah, let's do it. So we'll put together the ingredients together, and I'll ask them, okay, how about a turkey bacon uh, a sub with arugula and tomatoes for lunch on some French bread, and they're like, wow, that sounds amazing, I can eat that. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course you can eat that.
It sounds
So
evil. It sounds like a deathly
it
food to
does.
people, right? Any kind of sandwich situation, they hear a sub and they're like, no, not good for me. I've
Yeah,
trained myself away from bread, to be honest. Like, because when you start off, you're like, oh, that's usually not too good for me. And then you eventually just move away from it. Like, I barely eat bread at all. Like, I had a loaf of bread that I put in the freezer and it's still in there. It's probably been like 6 months. And I take like one piece every 6 weeks and I make like a peanut butter. But then now I
make
got the
sure it
rice
doesn't have
cakes.
mold.
I probably full of it. I probably think it's ice, and then it's actually mold. I just wipe it off because it's that happened to my turkey
Yeah.
today. I was like, "Is this a frozen? Is this like a little ice mold looking thing?" And I like wiped it, and it didn't like it didn't reduce. I was like rubbing it, and I was like, "This is mold." So I had to throw all of it out. Sadly, I wanted to believe different, but
Yeah,
eventually. You cook the turkey and it smells like metal, and
you
you're like,
made the
okay,
right
so
decision.
that's something I do. I've made a lot of questionable game time decisions with meats, and about
Okay.
75% of the time it works out. And the other 25% of the time it's basically spring cleaning.
Hey,
It's all good. It's like I
it's
just
all
it
good,
cleans out
brother.
my system.
Yeah, you've
So
got to risk it to get the biscuit, man. Just like in
yeah.
business.
Yeah, right. Training. That's my defense against COVID was let's eat let's eat this risky food and I'll build up my immune system through the GI tract was what I was thinking. So with COVID, how
There
has that
you go.
changed your operation? Has COVID made any interesting changes in your operation or recommendations for people? Because that can get sketchy. You don't want to
Hmm.
recommend the wrong things or give someone a false sense of
Definitely.
security nutritionally. But there are things that you can definitely do to put yourself in a good position. Correct?
Absolutely, brother. And due to COVID, I feel like a lot of people are waking up and realizing that it's not too late to take care of their health. It's never too late. And they know that prevention is the best cure. A lot of people are being very proactive when it comes to their nutrition. They're finding out what it is that they can eat to strengthen their immune system, to prevent them not only from catching COVID, but from developing any other diseases or health conditions later on in their life. And nutrition is one of the few factors that actually influence whether or not you're going to be a healthy or a sick person. So
Yeah.
COVID has actually been a blessing in disguise. And I hate to say it because so many people have been
Yeah.
affected by it. But it's been a blessing in disguise for us because so many people are calling us since there's a lot of people that are still quarantining. Unfortunately, we're an essential business. So we have had no time to quarantine whatsoever. We've been on the move
Yeah.
almost 24/7 with our meal delivery service. And we actually came up with a 365 immunity kit for those people who are eating healthy and they need supplements to supplement their healthy diets that are going to strengthen their general immune system to boost general immunity. And the particular thing about our immunity kit is that since we work with oil of oregano, it's also got echinacea, golden seal. A lot of these herbs are antiviral herbs. So they will prevent coronavirus or any other virus from penetrating the cell membrane and actually getting into the cell and infecting the host, right? Because of the fact that they work so well for that particular function. So it's
Wow. I
interesting.
never knew that existed. Antiviral herbs.
Yeah, antiviral herbs, oil of oregano, echinacea, and golden seal. There's a couple other ones, but those are our three go-tos that we recommend to our clients.
Interesting. Golden seal. I've never even heard of that one at all.
Yeah, the Native Americans actually used it back in the day. So it's been around for thousands of years. And now is actually when, since holistic medicine is becoming so popular, now is when it's becoming popular again. So when you pass by the office, I'll hook you up with an echinacea golden seal supplement. Um,
Nice. Yeah, people
yeah.
kind of write off a lot of this stuff as quackery, right? They hear like, "Oh, this herb is going to do this for you," but I
Mhm.
mean, when you think about it, like
I've seen it
pharmacological
work.
solutions are just a combination of those things with man-made derivatives. So what's the difference? It's like you need
Correct.
someone to make this into like a drug, and then the FDA has to approve it. Well, like why not try these solutions that have been around for a long time And if there is research out on them, so you could look at it like a pharmacy drug if you wanted, and give yourself
Mhm.
the best chance. And honestly, I like what you said there about having their diet dialed in, and only then will this like immune
Correct.
boosting system be a thing. Because you see a lot of people marketing like immune powders, where it's like you just drink this thing, and they don't even take into account.
Magic powder, right?
Exactly, right. Taking into account the things that you're looking for, which like get your diet dialed in, and
Hmm.
then we'll look into the actual concept of this extra supplement, which is when supplements actually do their work, is when they're supplementing an already good diet, and that's the big thing. That's why they're called supplements. So,
Yeah,
obviously,
absolutely.
so
And
people need to benefit from that.
definitely. And you made a good point, Dr. Rob, because you can't patent nor trademark a plant. You can patent and trademark a medication, and thank
Hmm.
God that HealthCast has not gone viral yet, because I know it will in the next couple months. Because we would get a lot of heat for this.
Big
But yeah,
Pharma's trying to take me down,
unfortunately,
man. I can already tell I'm getting these weird texts right now. They're
yeah.
saying, if you know what's better, you'll stop this right now. The
Uh-oh,
government's
they're
after me,
listening
man.
in. Yeah,
Oh
yeah. I
God,
mean, with the
gotta delete my
microphones
TikTok
on our
app.
phones, I mean,
You never
Amazon
know.
Alexa, we're being listened to right now. I mean, our number one fans are probably the CIA and the FBI agents that are listening, right? So hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you
What's
for
up?
enjoying HealthCast.
Yeah, right. They're like, God, this is the most boring like, this is not gonna do
Oh,
anything.
they're
Like, they're
loving
not
it,
saying
man.
anything bad, and then all of a sudden the pharmacology stuff comes up, and they're like, wait, I think they're gonna step on their
Red
own.
flag.
Yeah,
Ding.
boom, got him. Guess what, boss? We caught him. They're talking smack. They're trying to give out echinacea and golden seal to the listeners. That's not good.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
so who's Dr. J? You mentioned him earlier. What kind of doctor is he? Like, how'd you meet him? How did you get involved with him? He seems like a good guy in your life.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. He's actually my main role model and mentor. He's also a physician. He's got over 30 years of experience working as a pediatrician at the Miami Children's Hospital, and he's had several clinics over the course of his life. So he's highly successful. He's also a radio and TV personality. He's a very loved doctor and person in the community. He's a family man. He's got 5 kids. Like I said, I consider myself his sixth kid because he's a father like figure to me. So what he does for 365 Wellness Solutions is beyond words because thanks to his counseling, his guidance, we can work with people who have cancer. We can work with people who have chronic digestive issues and some of the more weird health conditions that are less common that we don't typically see on a daily basis that we didn't prepare for. Due to his knowledge and expertise, we are able to take on these clients and actually achieve very sustainable results for them. So this is a team effort, brother. We've got a lot of great people collaborating to make 365 Wellness Solutions what it is. And and yeah, I'm grateful to have Dr. J in my life because he's taught me the majority of everything that I know. So
Wow.
great guy. You'll meet him soon.
And it's coming from a doctor's perspective. So he kind of helps provide the bridge from these complicated cases, right, that involve
Correct.
pathologies that definitely interact with the both the immune system, the GI system, their diet and exercise is all wrapped up in that. And he can provide some of that physician level knowledge for you,
Yes.
and then you bring in the nutritional aspect and the actual nuts and bolts, the cooking for people, the delivery, and all that too. Yeah.
The logistics, correct.
Yeah, the logistics. So you guys work together. So it's kind of like it's you two are like the big. You guys you like the business. You two, is this correct? And you have like employees under you.
Yeah, we actually have a logistics manager that we just hired. His name's Daniel Diaz. He's also our sales director as well. We're a small company, so we've all got to wear many hats.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Hiring a
and he,
logistics guy, that's pretty good. I
yeah,
want a
I
logistics
appreciate
guy.
that.
That would show that I mean logistics. That would show that you're extremely you need that's like Amazon right there.
Yeah.
Single day delivery.
I wish, brother. Yeah. It's just that there's a lot of aspects in the business. For example, Daniel's job is to follow up with each and every one of our clients every single day to make sure that they received their meals exactly how they ordered it. He's also got to follow up with all the prospects that we visited during the week. We also do door to door sales as well, passing out business cards and flyers and whatnot. And Daniel's job is to follow up with all those people. He also does inventory for us because we do have supplements, and we're actually in the process of developing our own supplement line.
Ooh,
That's coming soon. So I'm really, really excited about
all in
that.
house. Very
All
smart.
in house, yes. So
That's
it's
not too hard
been
to do either. I mean, it's
no,
hard, but like they have facilities even in Miami that you can like basically what's the word, like white label a
correct.
certain, like a very pure version of something where it's like people they want the name brand, but like you literally can just get that white label right from the factory, and it's
Yeah,
exactly what you need. You can like this is exactly, and it's recommended from people who know their stuff.
definitely, brother. The way
That's
that we're
awesome.
doing it is we're actually coming up with our own formulas because there's so many different components in a multivitamin that need to be there. It's got to have an adequate amount of B vitamins since we know that people are so stressed, especially in Miami and other big cities.
Hmm.
Um, B vitamins are the ones that tend to suffer the most, as you probably know, and they tend to become depleted with increased stress levels. So it's got to have that. It's got to have your antioxidants, vitamins A, C, and E. It's got to have an adequate level of vitamin D, since we know that it's one of the most common deficiencies in the country. It's got to have iron, magnesium. We know how important magnesium is, not only for the cardiovascular system, but for our bones, for our nervous system as well. So it's got to have a lot of different components, and I want to make one that's goal specific for busy professionals. So since that's our niche, we're currently designing a multivitamin for busy professionals, and I can't wait to see the finished
Hmm.
product because um, I know that they're gonna love it. So, and I'm gonna be taking the multivitamin myself. I mean, like you said, we've got to practice what we preach, right?
Yeah. And it sounds like it'd be a little bit of like a nootropic potentially, or something that works with cognitive ability.
Correct. Yeah, definitely. Cognitive performance is one of our priorities for our clients. So
Hmm.
definitely, we're going to try to have an adequate amount of not only B vitamins but also folic acid and things like that to make sure that the brain has all the nutrients required and the proper amount of each nutrient to be able to be at peak performance. Because you know that other multivitamins they'll get the job done, but it's not the same as when you're taking a multivitamin that's been tested for 99% purity, and
Hmm.
it's been tried and tested um, to achieve the results that the client wants. So I'm really excited about that.
I've heard that some multivitamins just throw a bunch of stuff together and don't actually do the math on are these things
Most of them
gonna.
do actually.
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
looks good on percentages on the side and the little on the dietary information, but when they throw it
correct.
together, like some are first of all, some don't even get digested right because the way they're put in there. Some
Yeah,
like don't interact well with the other ones, and so it looks good for percentage wise. It might be a cheap thing to add in to get people to buy in, but
yeah.
okay, so that's because that was something I've heard, and I
Hmm.
kind of led that
You're
question, but
100% right.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. And the worst part is that if you look on the back of a multivitamin, like for example, One A Day or Centrum,
Hmm.
it's pretty sad because they do have an adequate amount of each vitamin and each micronutrient, like you said. But if you take a look at other ingredients, you're gonna see red number 40, blue number 6, yellow number 6, all sorts of different food additives like maltodextrin, cellulose, which by the way is a synonym for wood pulp. That's all in One A Day and Centrum multivitamin. So the cheaper you go with your health, I feel like the worse of
Yeah, you
a
get what you pay
product and the
for.
worst results, yeah, you're gonna get. So definitely,
S-
I myself the extra $5-10, whatever it is per month, to be taking a pharmaceutical grade multivitamin that's been tested for 99% purity, because what better investment can we make than our own bodies?
Yeah, if it's once a month, that's a good point.
Yeah.
If you're gonna nickel and dime yourself for like a $6 difference once every two
Yeah,
months, because some of these are like 90 pills. So we're talking once
you're
every
right.
3 months. You're not gonna spend the extra like $12. But it's so
Yeah,
tempting when you're at the shop and you
it is
see,
tempting.
like, oh my
All the
gosh, this is
deals and the
cheaper.
sales.
Yeah, buy one. It's always, yeah, it's like CVS where it's like 1,000 of those yellow stickers. Buy two, get one half.
Yeah,
Some of the deals aren't even good. I'm like, this is like buy
they're
three,
not.
get one 25% off. Like, what the hell, dude? It's BOGO or
Yeah,
bust. Nothing worse than that
right.
to me. You know, it's, and then you got to buy two, of
I
course. But
totally
it's
agree.
well. So what about things like fish oil? Fish oil
Fantastic.
but there's in terms of the way they're offered at the store. Because I've heard in terms of dosing it. Because I've heard things like you got to get at least this much or that much, and there's obviously the DHA to the EPA.
EPA, correct. You
So
said it correctly.
what is your typical recommendations in terms of people getting fish oil, or is it not so specific?
Yeah, for a preventative dosage, we know that fish oil has many different benefits. Specifically, omega-3, the component in fish oil, is what has the health benefits. A lot of people take 1,000 milligrams of fish oil, but in reality, they're only taking 300 milligrams of
Yeah.
omega-3. So we've got to be very careful with that. So a great preventative dosage for health maintenance, for everyday life, to boost cognitive performance, to prevent cardiovascular disease and whatnot, would be around 700 to 1,000 milligrams. You can always take more. I suggest to not take less, because you're not going to be getting enough. And a therapeutic dosage of omega-3, let's say for somebody who has arthritis, since we know omega-3 has anti-inflammatory effects. Somebody who has Alzheimer's, for example, I would say a good therapeutic dosage would be around 3,000
Oh
to
my God.
3,500 milligrams.
That's
Yes.
10 servings, 10 to 15,
Yeah, correct.
because
Well,
or 10 to 15 pills maybe. It depends on the whatever they consider a serving, right? Because some will say one soft gel.
yeah.
It'll be 300. So what's the other 450 milligrams? If it's not omega-3, but it's fish oil, is it literally just fish oil?
Yeah, it's literally just other components of the fish oil.
Is there
So
benefits to that? Just wasted.
I, if there are, they're not. I'm not familiar with them,
Yeah.
so they can't be good.
Do they sell fish oil that's like purely DHA or EPA?
They do,
Oh
and that's
wow.
a little more goal specific, because we know how good DHA is for the brain. And as a matter of
Hmm.
fact, they gave kids in school who have ADD and ADHD, which I was diagnosed with. I never took Ritalin or any of that stuff. They tried to give it to me, but I was a very rebellious teenager, so I decided not to continue with it. And later on in my life, I found out that I had actually made a pretty smart decision, because we now know the side effects that all these medications have. But they gave DHA to a group of adolescent test subjects with ADD and ADHD, and they actually gave Ritalin and other pharmaceuticals to other adolescent test subjects. And believe it or not, the ones who were taking the DHA performed better than the ones taking the pharmaceuticals. Isn't that crazy?
Whoa.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
incredible what nutrition can do.
Big Pharma's listening again.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I heard them
guys.
jump in. I heard Siri. She goes, mm-hmm. She's not good at hiding it. That's so funny,
No.
man. So they go through they go through the whole process making Ritalin,
Hmm.
and then they find out that this fish oil was more effective. And
Yeah,
that's a
because you
study,
can't
huh?
patent a plant nor an animal.
Yeah.
So
That's the next step
there's
for
no money
them.
to be made.
Yeah, they'll start patenting fish. They'll be like, salmon, that's ours. They'll make like a
Yeah,
salmon mixed breed salmon and like
a GMO
grass.
salmon, right?
Yeah, right. It has
Yeah.
like a human face, but like this is ours. And we killed off all the other salmon, so you got to get our fish oil.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
all. What
which,
about krill oil? Have you heard of krill oil? That's like isn't it
oh,
like a
krill oil
super
is
fish oil?
fantastic. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. The absorption rate as well as the utilization rate in the omega-3 from krill oil. Krill are these very small tiny species of shrimp that are food for whales. They're tiny, but there's millions of them in the ocean, billions and trillions of them. So I don't know if you've seen the whales swimming across the
Yeah,
ocean with their
just
mouths open,
destroy a
just
whole
swallowing
school of
all the
them.
krill. Yeah,
Yeah.
a whole school of them, just downing them, right? So the fact that they are so small and they're basically almost at the beginning of the food chain makes their omega-3 much more rich than, for example,
Mm,
salmon omega-3, who's a little bit farther down the food chain, because we know that omega-3 originates from algae in the bottom of the ocean. So the smaller fish and the smaller animals consume the algae in the bottom of
wow.
the ocean, and then bigger fish come and consume the smaller animals, and then even bigger fish like salmon and sharks and whatnot, they consume the smaller those animals as well, and it's just a chain. It keeps going, but omega-3 actually originates from algae. It's
So that's
pretty
why
cool.
krill is so super powered in terms of its probably proportion. If there was a fish oil from krill, which there is, krill oil, it's
Hmm.
probably a greater proportion of that is actually the good stuff, the DHA, EPA, I'm assuming. But that might be
Oh,
an
definitely.
oversimplification. Okay. So you wouldn't want to get you would not want to get your fish oil from like a blue whale.
Yeah,
That would
I mean, well, you can.
that would work. Yeah, it would just be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like anything else. I mean, when they talk about meat, like eating a cow versus it's like the energy loss. It's like 10% every time you
Correct.
go up the chain, right? It's like 10%. So if I eat the cow, then I'm getting 10% of the energy that the sun provided, like the grass and the whatever the hell they eat, wheat. Um,
Hmm.
and if you go another level up, it's if someone were to eat humans, it would be like another 10% of that. So it's
Aliens
think,
probably, right? Because
yeah,
there's nobody
aliens.
above
Yeah,
our food, us in the food
yeah.
chain on Earth.
Yeah, unless the dolphins take over. I don't know, man. They're getting smart. I was watching a video
Yeah,
of them. They
they've
go
got
in
a bigger brain than
circles.
we do.
Yeah, you can see it's got a big freaking nodule in the front.
Yeah.
I got a big head, but not that big. That's goals right there. I heard that they're very
Yeah.
intelligent. They just didn't luck out
They're
because
so
humans are
smart.
smart in the right way. We're smart in the way that we can just put them in freaking
We are.
SeaWorld and they can be our
And
slaves essentially. We mistreat
oh
them.
yeah, and the fact they're so cute too, and they're so good to humans, because I don't know if you heard the story about the Cubans that were actually coming to Miami on a raft, and something happened to the raft where the entire family, unfortunately passed away at sea.
Oh,
Nobody knows if they were eaten by sharks or what had happened. But the young child, I believe his name was Emilio, I'm not 100% sure. He was actually saved by a school of dolphins, and it came out on the news. Yeah, and the dolphins actually swam and they took Emilio all the way to Miami,
what?
and Fidel and Raul, the Castros, those freaking assholes, man. They actually wanted the U.S. to
Oh, Ilian
return
Gonzalez?
Emilio. I
Is this
think
Ilian
so.
Gonzalez? Yeah, that's how he got here
Yes,
on
yes, yes.
Dolphins.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh my
Correct. That's
God,
exactly
Ilian says
him. I knew
Dolphins
his name
saved his
had it in.
life.
Yeah,
Wow, I didn't know that
such a
was that.
crazy
What a
story.
twist! I thought it was. I just thought I heard the second half only. How he was. Yeah, he was surrounded by dolphins drifting off the Fort Lauderdale coast. Oh, they took him to Fort Lauderdale. They didn't even take the short route. They wanted him to live in Fort Lauderdale. They found a good
Yeah.
house for him or something, man. They
I
went
can't
past
blame them
Miami.
either. Lauderdale
Yeah,
by the
right.
Sea has some great mansions over there, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can live there at some point in our lives.
Yeah, man.
And
I'll
that's the
have
goal.
my big logo on it, Physiologics, boom, right on the side.
There you go, man. That's
Here's my
coming.
next question that I should have asked earlier, but
Yeah.
we went on a tangent, which is good because now I feel like I'm an expert in fish oil. What about, so
Excellent.
why do they put the colors in why are they even messing with putting colors in multivitamins? Who cares? Why are they putting red dye in
I
multivitamins?
have I have no idea, brother.
Is this
I'm
some
pretty
kind of
sure that's just an
psychological
ad.
marketing technique? Like they know
Yeah,
that
it
red
could be.
attracts?
It could be. It could be because we know that certain colors portray certain emotions. Like for example, green gives a lot of green triggers the emotions of
Mm-hmm.
trust and credibility amongst customers. I'm sure these big corporations, with the amount of market analysis that they do and whatnot, they have their marketing down packed, and their main goal is to make a profit, right?
Yeah.
While us
Hmm.
small business owners, our main goal is to help people and be service oriented individuals that are willing to go the extra mile to make sure that the person has their problems solved. So there's nothing like the warmth of a small business, or a small
Yeah.
business owner personally servicing the clients, because nobody's going to take care of our clients better than we do. And it's a shame, brother, what these big corporations are doing, because um, they may be making a lot of profit, but people are waking up, and we're the next wave, brother. That's exactly why they're imposing so many different regulations on small businesses, and blaming it on COVID. That's exactly why they're trying to tax us as much as possible, because we are the next ones up. We are the up and coming companies that are taking over, and we're going to do things the right way. No matter how much we grow, we're still going to put our customers first, and we're
Hmm.
still going to have the same values and the same ethics what that we did when we founded the company.
Yeah, I got to upend that system. I mean, I created this
Definitely.
exactly because of the whole mill PT business. I worked at a mill PT place when
Yes.
I started. That basically, at first, I gave them the benefit of the doubt, and it's not any one person's fault. Like the people who hired me or people who worked there,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not better than anyone that was working there. They're all PTs too, and they're all great, and they're busy people. But it's
Yeah.
just like the system they were put in just created this atmosphere of like get 4 or 5 patients an hour, and then I became part of it too. Um, which I mean, you can service people with really bad insurances. You can someone has a bad insurance, at least they're getting treatment. And like today,
Yeah.
when people call into me and they can't afford my service, because I do bill people out of network, but some people don't even have out of
I
network
saw that.
billing
Yeah.
capabilities. Yeah, they don't even have
Excellent.
that capability. Looks like you really did some Instagram research. Very good.
I did.
Um, yeah, so I had that cool post with the little blinky thing, the GIF that I put
Definitely.
up. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like you can get these people treated, but the catch is they got to go 4 or 5 patients an hour. So it's not like it's like
Yeah. It's
split
not
up
the
between
same.
the insurance not reimbursing well enough and these big mill PT clinics taking the contracts from them. But or else the people want to get treated. So it's kind of a problem at both the it's a problem at the customer level with the insurance to the customer, but also the clinic level with the clinic to the insurance to the customer. So they're kind of involved in this game where it's like, well, would you take like $20 an hour for this guy? So then you take that patient for $20 an hour, but you can't make a profit just treating one an hour like that. So you take
No, you
four or
can't.
five. We used to have such a crowded schedule. They would have like a miscellaneous section where
Hmm.
there was like 15 people sitting on the edge, and they'd be like, you're with Rob, because that person canceled because there was such a terrible show up rate because there was no accountability. Just like you said, the
Hmm.
accountability aspect. When you're treating 10 people an hour,
Correct.
5 people, 4 or 5 people an hour, people aren't going to show up. So then you just take a miscellaneous person, and
Yeah.
it was so that's the system you're creating. And then when I step back from it and think, I'm like, damn, most physical therapy in America is like that at this point. So it's like saying more than
Yeah.
half of PT is bad. So PT in general, seen by Americans, is like it's a bad service. And I was like, wow, I never thought of it that way. So that's
Yeah.
what motivated me to create Physiologics. You know, it's not the cheapest, but it could be if you have insurance that covers it. But it definitely is much
Mm.
better care. You get better quicker. It might end up costing you less than going to 55 in-network appointments to a place like, the place I worked before. So I won't even say
Absolutely,
it.
brother. Yeah.
But
Plus, when it comes to your health, it's better to pay more to receive twice or three times the amount of value, because yeah, you can better your condition in a month, um with you, or you can better your condition in 6 months with somebody else. So it all depends on what the client wants to do. If they want to go the cheap route, they're going to get what they pay for it, like we said. But there's nothing like a health practitioner that really goes in depth with you, that asks you about your family and your personal life, and
yeah,
really creates a bond with you, because that's what it's all about, man. Life is all about relationships and helping people, and it's reciprocal. So not only do we don't look at our clients as just numbers, how other nutritionists and physical therapists do. Each one of them is an individual with their own problems, their own battles that they're currently facing. And as their mentors and people who are providing them with guidance in their lives, sometimes we take on different roles, and sometimes when it comes to their nutrition, it may not be, their problem may not be nutrient intake, nor compliance. It could be a mindset issue. It could be an attitude issue. So it's all about just going in depth and finding out what it is that's causing the problem for that person. Why are they missing appointments? Why are they not committed? What's going on in their personal life? What obstacles do they have to overcome in order to get started, right? And once we find out all of that, that's when we're ready to propose to them a real satisfactory lifestyle transformation.
That's awesome. And you can work with them directly, which is the best part, is that you can be there kind of working with them along the way, instead of being like, you've been given your diet plan, go on your app. Like you're there to be fluid with them, and that's the beauty of it. Like I love treatment like that too, you know, and with different services, because with PT, I know PT, so if I need it, like I'll be, I can handle this. But with some other thing in life, like at some point, like, you know, I don't know what it could be, but it could be something that if I value the results of that and I feel I have a deficiency in figuring that out on my own, I would be willing to pay money for something like that if it's something that I really care about. But it's different for everyone.
Definitely.
The good thing with the things that we work in is that most people can benefit from our services, because it's like your wellness. It's your diet.
Correct.
And it's your physical health. So if someone can't walk and they have terrible knee pain, it's like, wouldn't you love someone to just take care of that for you? How much is playing with your grandkids worth it right now? Like, would you rather, well, with COVID, it's a whole different thing. But yeah, you put the value in it. Or for someone with their diet, like, how much is like being able to fit into that dress? Or, I mean, I'm sure there's people that are like morbidly obese. Like, how much is it worth to you to have like a happy
Losing
life?
your life.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and we see nowadays with the coronavirus situation that if this is here to stay, it looks like it, you know, in a sense, it will always kind of be around. You have to you have to have a really good base level of health. In 100 years from now, it's going to be like normal. They're going to be like you have to be healthy enough not to die from this disease, or not to at least almost die from coronavirus, you know?
I'm sure by that time, I completely agree. I'm sure by that time there's going to be other coronaviruses and more complex issues that society is going to be facing. Yeah.
So, alien governors and stuff.
Yeah. Let's see what happens, man.
Do aliens get representation in the Congress? Yeah.
For sure.
They'll just control our brains. But man, it was nice talking to you. You're very knowledgeable, and that was like an hour and 15 minutes just snapped right by. You know? So
I agree. We got into it, man.
We did, and you know, we kind of delved into some of the specifics with like the fish oil and the vitamins, but we didn't really go deep into that. So there's more to talk about, it sounds like, too. So in the future, we could definitely get into more stuff.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and it seems like you're always open to a little bit more conversation. But I definitely would love to come by and say hi and look at the surroundings at some point, meet Dr. J and all that as well. So is there anything else that you that we missed? Anything that you want to discuss on this episode? I mean, you mentioned earlier you could talk about the origin story, but you know, I don't want to rush that, you know. Not that there is a rush. It's whatever you want.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead, and just because you asked, and I love the whole dynamic of your program and your business, the way that you're doing things. When I was 18 years old, I got kicked out of my parents' house because, as I said, I was very rebellious. I didn't want to follow rules. They are very strict by the book people, and I thank them for being that way, because that's the reason why I turned out the way I did. So when I got kicked out, I didn't have absolutely anywhere to go for a couple months. I was basically couch hopping and on survival mode. So while all of that was going on, I had to my parents thought that I was going to go back to them, apologize, and say that I was going to follow their rules. But I had different plans. I wanted to live life on my own terms, do what I wanted to do. So I never went back since. And while all of this was going on, I was working at GNC. I was also selling advertisements for a magazine that's called Ben Como, which, by the way, he was also one of my main mentors, a Cuban guy that came to this country on a raft, and now he's a millionaire. So I take my
Wow.
hat off to him, and he's really an example, a great example of what it is to be an American that truly appreciates and knows the opportunity, what it means to be able to pursue happiness in this country. So while all of that was going on, I decided that I did not want to live a life of mediocrity. I decided that I deserved more because I wanted to give more. So that's exactly why I founded 365 Wellness Solutions. My grandmother actually allowed me to set up shop, believe it or not, at her house in one of her rooms. So it was pretty funny at the beginning when we first started 365 Wellness Solutions. The customers would come by, and my grandmother would offer them Cuban coffee and whatnot, which wasn't very nutritious, but it had a nice family
Yeah.
touch. So we started very, very small. We started from the bottom, and I've been blessed with the opportunity to really scale this business into a massive business. And I couldn't be any happier because we have a fantastic opportunity to help a lot of people and to show them how to eat, what to eat, when to eat it, and to let them know that there is hope. You know, if they were diagnosed with diabetes type 2, we've actually reversed diabetes type 2 in several of our clients already with a low glycemic diet. They're still eating fruits, they're still
Yeah.
eating whole wheat bread, they're still eating whole wheat pasta. We just cut out all processed sugars and all white sugar, and it works. So yeah, brother, that is where I came from. That's why I made a promise to Dr. J and my other peers that no matter how much success we acquire, how many people we help, I'm not going to change who I am as a person, because ethics and morals and the way that I treat people is very important to me. So yeah, that's my story, brother.
Humble
And later on,
beginnings.
yeah, humble beginnings, correct.
That's the best way to do it. Someday you can tell that story at your National Health Association speech. You're talking about the origin story
I love it.
of of your business, which is doing
Mm-hmm.
great things in the Miami area, and that's why I found you, man. And you have a
Definitely.
podcast as well, don't you? Or did you? Or
Yeah,
you've been on
we do.
podcasts?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right
cool.
now, I'm only featuring on several podcasts, radio shows, TV programs as a guest, due to the fact that we had a little dispute with the radio station that we were currently on.
You were
But
on the radio.
yeah, we were on the radio.
Oh,
So
cool. That's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah, I
You even bring that
appreciate
up.
that. It was a great experience, to be honest, because we're gonna start our podcast back up soon. Dr. J was actually the other co-host, and the name of the podcast is called Banana Papaya. So it kind of has
Okay.
a double meaning to it. I'll
Hmm.
explain it right now, but it's basically the world's first medical radio show whose demographic is millennials. So like I would go all out with it, brother. I would put like rap music and have Dr. J like dance the rap music and stuff like that. Who's like an older guy, you know? So
Yeah.
like I would play house. We would really get into it. I'd invite models and rappers. I still have an idea where I want to invite three. I want to invite an English speaking rapper, a Spanish speaking rapper, and a Portuguese speaking rapper
Oh my
on the
God.
show, and just have them battle it out and see what happens. I
In
mean,
their own
I have so many
languages.
different ideas. Yeah, in different languages. I have so many ideas for the show. When we start it back up, which we will soon, we're just looking for the right radio station to do it at. So
The host station.
um,
Yeah.
the host station, correct. So we'll definitely have you on as a guest because I see how knowledgeable you are. I see how well you're doing. And
I can
I
also
mean,
speak Portuguese, so I could rap.
no shit.
No,
You can
I'm
speak.
screwing around now.
Yeah, that's
I
fine,
haven't.
man.
I was like,
I
oh,
believed you
perfect.
there for a second, bro. You had me fooled.
It's that dry sense of humor, man. It's the
Yeah,
upstate New York. It's a deep, it's a dark sense of humor. No,
yeah.
no,
Is that where you're from?
upstate New York. Yeah, I'm from Rochester. It's near Buffalo. You probably heard of
Cool,
Rochester.
dude. Of
Everyone's
course.
everyone's heard it like a couple times. It's not.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a nice little town. It's right near Canada too. So sometimes we have that accent, that Minnesota type accent, but it's mainly nasally
Cool.
accent. So. But yeah, I mean, I was on the radio when I was in undergrad. Our school had this local station, and we played music and had conversations. And something about knowing that it's being immediately broadcast to people, like in their cars, is so funny. Because I'm like, this is dumb
Right.
conversation I'm having with my buddy. We're like 18, talking about the dumbest thing, and it's like someone's in their car, like, what is it? I had a friend who was like,
What was
in
the
the
topic?
it was its dumbest. It was called East Coast Jazz because he was a drummer, and there was a drum corp
Yeah.
called East Coast Jazz,
Let me
and
guess, you knew nothing about jazz, right?
I knew nothing about jazz, nothing about music. I mean, he knew about drumming, but we would have these conversations. People thought we were high, but we were not high. We're just having dumb, like top of the brain conversations, like about like theoretical scenarios, like those dumb ones that people have when you're drunk or
Yeah.
if you're high. And I remember a kid. I was an RA. One of my residents was like, "Yeah, I heard that show. You're high, weren't you?" And I was like, "No, we weren't." Like, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I think it's kind of good. It's like people think you're under the
Yeah, it's
influence because
funny.
you're so goofy. And I was on the radio. Screw it, right? But yeah, the whole radio thing that's cool. I would love to be a guest, But sounds like you got to figure out when you get hopefully it works out. That'd be great if you got on another station, and
Absolutely.
you got a lot of good ideas for that. So I'm excited for you. How can our
I
listeners
appreciate
get in
that.
touch with you? How can they learn? What are the best resources for them? They love what they hear today. They want to get involved with you. What's the best way to get involved with you? To find you?
They could actually shoot us a DM via Instagram at 365wellnesssolutions.com. If they want to get in touch with me directly, they could actually send me an email at david at 365wellnesssolutions.com. Or they could shoot me a text. I don't really do well with phone calls because I'm always on Zoom calls and with clients and on podcasts and whatnot. But if they shoot me a text, I will get back to them within the next 4 to 6 hours. My number is 786-816-6287. And I'd be happy to give any one of your viewers or listeners a complimentary diet analysis as well as a body composition assessment due to the fact that I love what you're doing, man. I love your energy. I love the whole business concept. I want to offer this free value to each one of your members and also your listeners too, because I know how important nutrition is. I know how much this is going to benefit them. And usually they would actually need this voucher to receive the complimentary diet analysis and body composition assessment. But in your listeners' case, they won't need it as long as they say that they were referred by Dr. Rob. They're getting the hookup for sure.
Awesome. Do
Yeah,
you mind if I advertise that like with
please do.
one of my email lists or something, or maybe on my Instagram story?
Oh, I would love that, man.
Okay,
I'll
awesome.
do the same
Cool.
for your business.
Oh man, that's what it's all
Yeah.
about. It's this little like makeshift BNI that I'm creating, a health and wellness one. That's the future, maybe. We'll see.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, that'd be cool,
okay.
right?
Yeah. I'll
Big
definitely
Pharma's
sign
gonna.
up.
Yeah, right.
I'll be your first client.
It could be like Zoom based, so everyone can just sit in their house in their underpants, like me right now. Although I'm wearing khakis, I swear. But thank you so much for
Yeah, we
coming
would
on,
never
man.
know, man. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You don't know what's going on down there.
No.
Thanks so much for coming on. It's been great talking to
I
you, and
appreciate
I look
you,
forward to
brother.
talking to you in the future. Good luck with the the search for the new radio station. I hope that really works out for you. You're a very enthusiastic and business oriented person. How old are you again? You think you mentioned
23.
earlier. You're 23.
Yes, sir.
Damn, you're 23. Oh wow, I had no idea. I
Yes.
thought you were like near my. You don't look older, but I thought
Mhm.
you're just around my age based on like the maturity and stuff. I guess that makes
Yeah,
sense
I
with the
appreciate
timeline of
that,
your
brother.
story. 18, boom, 4 or 5 years since. Makes sense.
Correct.
Well, wow,
Yeah, it
that's
took some
amazing.
time to develop.
By the time you're my age, man, oh my golly, you're gonna be president of the United States of America. Watch
I
out. It'll
hope
be
so, brother. I
Yeah,
really
right.
hope so.
See
Yeah,
your own
depending on how these
convention.
elections go, you know, some either really good things can happen or some very bad things can happen. So let's hope that we still have our Second Amendment and you know the right to free speech
Yeah,
by
that's
next
all.
year.
Okay, I like this. This is the political portion of the show. We're about to get into it.
Yeah, yeah,
No, I
yeah.
like that. We all have these, just as we have the right to a healthy
Hmm.
body with diet and exercise, we want to protect our rights too. So I like the sentiment,
Absolutely,
man. I
brother.
love it. Well, it was
Yeah,
nice talking to you, man, and let's keep in
you
contact
too.
in the future. Um, and thank you for offering that to the listeners. That's really good. And
My pleasure, brother.
yeah, thanks for coming on. And once again, signing off from HealthCast 305. This is Dr. Rob with Physiologics Sports Physical Therapy, Concierge PT in your house, in the clinic, telehealth, whatever you need, people. And here we have the one and the only 365 Wellness Solutions owner here, David Arguez. Said it right.
Yes,
And his
sir.
wonderful business. People, please check it out. He's knowledgeable. He's all over the social media. He's always doing something. He's willing to work with you. That's why I found him. Have a good day, man.
You too, brother. Thanks again
Adios,
for having
brother.
me on.
No problem.